partnership with CAL FIRE, Valley Center Fire, and the Sheriff's Department. So we'll turn the corner over to them to give you updates as well. So after the speakers, you'll have that portion, and then there'll be a chance, probably not today, to do the 1-minute pitches given our lineup. But I'd like to actually thank Pastor Bill Stroke of Virgin Church for putting this particular format together. He's taken it from idea to here and getting everybody here, and the idea of the meeting I think is fantastic. So I'll let him explain it to you.
Hi guys, how you doing? If you notice, we're in an election cycle. There's been many times in my life where I've said, Seinfeld about that. David Seinfeld about that. I don't know if you guys watch Seinfeld, but there's a line from a Seinfeld that keeps repeating in my head during this election cycle, and it's this. One day, George and if you know these characters, and Seinfeld were having lunch, and what's his first name? Seinfeld. Jerry, thank you. And Jerry said to George, he was just absolutely disgusted with his perspective and his attitude and stuff. And he said, George, we're trying to have a civilization here. It's a great line. You know, it's a great line. And we're trying to have a civilization here. And the purpose of this morning's meeting is to remind you and to kind of inform you about some of the ways we're trying to have a civilization in Valley Center. And in order to have a civilization, you have to have certain shared values, okay, that everybody kind of agrees upon. And you have to create social order and organization from those shared values, right? And one of the ways we do that is through special districts, okay? And I asked Tom Stinson from Marie Baldwin's office to just give us a little primer on what a special district is.
Okay, I have a question before we start. Yeah. Are we going to stick with the agenda that we have here presented?
Yeah.
Does this also include a pledge of allegiance to the flag?
Oh, yes, it does.
I don't normally run this meeting.
You are most correct.
Where's the flag?
Right in the corner.
Part of the ways we're trying to have a civilization and shared values is we recognize this flag.
Okay, hands over your heart, please. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Cal.
Thank you for that.
Okay, well, Pastor asked me to give a little intro on special districts, how they came to be, why they're here, what they do, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to give you a very brief little background on special districts. First of all, they were formed back in the 1880s when a group of farmers up in the Central Valley decided they needed irrigation water for their farms. So they got together and sort of set up what we today would call an irrigation or a water district. And then in 1887, the legislature passed a bill allowing this to officially happen. It's called the Wright Act, which was named after one of the individuals involved in setting up the irrigation district. And that started the ball rolling, so from then on they started setting up all kinds of special districts to handle, one of the first major ones was they had a big mosquito problem. The marshes around San Francisco Bay and other rural areas were full of mosquitoes. There's a big malaria problem. So in 1915 they set up mosquito abatement districts, and since then we have all kinds of special districts: hospital districts, cemetery districts, fire districts, water districts, almost anything you can think of. Basically, a special district is a local agency that's set up to provide a specific service to the local population. A city government can provide a wide range of services. A special district can only deal with that one specific issue, like fire protection or delivering water, that sort of thing. They are publicly owned and operated, and they're created by the local residents themselves. So if you want to set up a special district, you get together with your neighbors, there's a need that's missing, you decide you need mosquito abatement, whatever. You sign petitions, you submit those petitions to an organization called LAFCO, which stands for Local Agency Formation Commission, which every county has one. It's under state law. The reason for LAFCO is to settle disputes between cities, boundaries. If the city wants to annex property, they have to go through LAFCO. Well, if you want a special district, you go through LAFCO. If they approve it, then it goes to a vote of the people. In that election, they'll vote on the board, and the board members have to live within the district, and they'll vote on the tax structure. most special districts are going to need a tax structure. Well, in California, 2/3 vote is required to raise taxes. So essentially, special districts require 2/3 vote. Because if you set it up without financial support, it's really nothing. Let's see, they are independent of other government agencies. They're not state government. There are state laws that govern special districts. For instance, they have to hold board meetings. They have to provide financial reports to the state controller once a year. And everything, all the I's have to be dotted, all the T's have to be crossed. But within their area of authority, they are basically sovereign. So they're not state government, they're not county government, they're not city government. So if there's a problem with a special district, or you just want to change something, you go to the board, you go to the board meeting, you vote the people in, you vote the people out, they're responsible to you, but not directly to any other form of government. Let's see. LAFCO, I went over that. One thing I do want to bring out here, Assemblywoman Waldron wrote an article about special districts a couple years ago. I'm sure it was in Valley Center Happenings. And some of these stats may be slightly dated, but I doubt it. It says voters have created 2,160 independent special districts to serve special needs that might otherwise be unavailable. Special districts treat wastewater for 30 million people, provide fire and emergency protection for 11 million, operate more than half of California's critical access hospitals, and provide irrigation water for 90% of our farmland. Now, can anybody remember any government bureaucracy you ever heard of that voluntarily disbanded? We're no longer needed, and we're going to quit.
The rural electrification program finally ended, like 2 years ago.
So get this, in the past 20 years, over 7% of special districts through either voluntary closures or consolidations have basically disbanded. So that's something that just doesn't usually happen in government. So last quote here, I'll read: California special districts are efficient, cost-effective, responsive, and transparent. If only the entire state could be run this well.
Amen.
Amen. Can I get an amen, people? So for the betterment of our society, you can hear that in some of the things he talked about. Get rid of mosquitoes, dealing with certain issues. We established these special districts. And one example of that, and you mentioned it, was hospital districts, right? These are established so that we have a safe place to have our children born, right? And to come into this world, and a safe place to get medical treatment, you know, that's close by and readily available and well run, right? And so what that means is that most people, when they're born in our society, they're born under the care of a special district. Okay, so it's really fundamental to the way we've established ourselves. And one of our shared values, and it's a really good thing, is universal education, right? For the betterment of our society, so that we can shine and polish those little kids that come into our society and make them all that they can be. And so we established another special district called the school district, right? And one of the ways we've brought social order is through an election process, like Tom mentioned, where we decide who oversees and governs our school districts. And this, in a few weeks, we're going to elect 2 people to our school board. So I've asked Superintendent Mary Gorsuch to describe what tasks we're actually electing them to, and then to maybe just talk about any kind of issues that you see that they're going to have to deal with. And so rather than talking about the candidates, we're going to talk about what we're actually electing them to.
Okay, and has you for how long?
Just real quick.
He knows me. He knows what kind of talker I am. I can brag all day long about our wonderful school districts. We have so much to be proud of. We are Valley Center Palma Unified School District, 300 square miles, about 4,100 students, from 4-year-olds in our transitional government program, all the way up to adults. We do educate some adults who need a little extra time to get their diplomas, or who are special educated, special needs students who need a little more time for support after graduation as well. We have about 500 employees, and we are governed by the California Education Code, the State Code of California. However, we have interpretation authority to take those laws that govern school boards and make them appropriate for our community. So we have a 5-member board. As Bill mentioned, there are 2 seats open right now.
The school board essentially sets the policy for the school district, sets the budget for the school district, and they hire one person. And you're looking at it. They hire one person, and I'm very, very honored to be the superintendent. The board hires a superintendent, and then the superintendent essentially makes the things the board wants to happen. We have 4 elementary schools, a middle school, a high school, and then alternative programs. School board members spend a significant amount of time reading policy, interpreting policy, and setting policy. We're very pleased that our school board works collaboratively together. They take a lot of time to read the policies and read our recommendations, and then work together to discuss and debate what they feel is the direction for the school board. You'll see that at a school board meeting, questions back and forth, discussion. And then when they make a decision, I'm very proud of our school board, they make a decision for the good of all our students and they stand by it. So we have a very unified, hard-working school board, and I'm very pleased to be part of it. Thank you.
Anything coming up in the school district that these new incoming board members might have to be addressing?
We are in a period of time right now where we've had funds restored. Through the recession, very dark times for finances for schools. We were careful, we were fiscally conservative, we were able to get through without laying off anyone. It's likely that the tide will turn again and the budgets will decline again. And so we need to be careful, board members, we need to be careful to long-range plan, to plan for the future. We want to do the very best for our students, but we also want to be able to have that nest egg so that when hard times come, we can make sure that we keep the boat afloat. Other than that, we're really looking at, on a positive note, we're looking at improving our career tech ed. We want to make sure that we have students ready for college, but also ready for career. So looking at robotics, medical, culinary, welding, all those things, fire. We have an effort right now to make sure every single student graduates knowing CPR, so that they are helpful in the community as well. So that's what's up. Thank you.
So one of the ways we establish social order, right, and kind of have a civilization here is we establish these kinds of districts and boards, and school districts develop the potential of each child, and it gives the benefit to our society of an educated populace. You know, not every society has that, and with these children as they grow up, our society recognizes that their families need more than just an education, that these kids need more than just an education, and they need, in order to become well-rounded individuals, right? We have a shared value that says all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy, right? So one of the ways we've brought social order and organization to our culture is to provide another kind of special district called the Park and Rec District. It provides parks and recreational opportunities for the children as well as for their families. And in Valley Center, we have a new Park and Rec director, Darcy LaHaye, and I've asked her to come up here because her job is to make sure that Johnny doesn't become a dull boy.
My name is Darcy LaHaye. I was hired by the board in August, so I'm new. But the board, it's a 5-member board, much like the school district. They hired me, and they've got a big vision for Valley Center. And their vision is to build a 43-acre park. And so we are trying to get the word out to the public that we would love to build this park, but we need everybody's help. We are in the infant stage, which is the planning stage. And so these 3 boards represent what we could have, but we need everybody's input because we want to build something in Valley Center that everyone will enjoy. And it's not free, because I think with every special district, we all struggle with operating funds. And so what I want everyone to do is get a pen on your way out, and I want you to take a survey because we would like to know what Valley Center needs. Now, the difference between these 3 options are, we own these 15.5 acres right now. And so we would like to develop it with some ball fields, tennis courts. The equestrian center, which of course is my favorite, my daughter rides horses.
The deep pool for water polo?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
That's, I don't believe we have one over here. But take the survey. We need to know what you want because we're in the planning stages. We are hoping in spring to go to a ballot vote, which is a tax benefit assessment. You would all receive, if you are in the sphere of influence, which is a 20-minute radius of the park itself, and the park itself is located off of Valley Center Road. It's bounded by Vesper. The map is over there. Yeah, that's Vesper, that's Valley Center Road. We would love to have your input. And all of these, I have it on a small sheet of paper, which I would love for you to take a look at. All the amenities are described on the back of what is going to be offered and the price point of what each one would cost you. Thank you. So it's very important that we get the word out. We have had 3 workshops already. In those 3 workshops, we've had 7 people total. So we need to get the word out. So we're coming to, we're going to do the real estate professionals on November 2nd. We just need to get the word out. Take a pen on your way out. It has a website where you can take the survey online. But the big difference between, obviously, option B and option C, this one has more buildings that we could have more meetings at. And places to find meetings, as you can see, it's very few and far between. So option C has more buildings to accommodate more clubs and activities, boys and girls, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. So take a minute to look at these. You can look at these after the meeting. I'm very proud of our board. They have such a vision, and we really would love to see new parks in Valley Center.
So Johnny doesn't become adulthood.
Exactly.
Right. And I believe that your district is operating the same way as the school district, that the board is your boss.
The
they
board is
hire
my
you,
boss, yes.
And that they set policy and then you implement the policy.
Absolutely.
Correct, and so that's what we're elected people to, is that was policy. Like
Right, and we have 2 board members that are up for election.
Right, and so that's what's coming. There's actually some local things going on in the election, which is,
Yeah.
we're trying to have a civilization.
And downstairs is.
Yeah, thank you, Darcy. Now, our civilization has also recognized the need for dependable, safe, usable water, right? I mean, if you don't have that, we also need a way to dispose of the usable water. Somebody who's making coffee, and the old saying that you don't buy coffee, right? You rent it, okay? It comes in and it has to go somewhere, right? And it could be argued, I think, that water management is probably one of our most vital public health issues, really, if you think about it. We literally can't live without safe water. And without a dependable source, life becomes like this continual search for that safe water, and we need it for drinking, for cooking, for industry, for food, so that the crops can grow and stuff. And so again, a special district gets formed. Gary Arant is here to provide, to that service to our community, and he has some board members coming up for election as well.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Gary Arant with the Valley Center Municipal Water District. Tom gave an excellent primer on special districts. Valley Center Water District is not the water company. It is a school-member special district. We have a 5-member elected board and so forth. The district was formed in 1954 by an election of about 525 voters. That was the number of voters in Valley Center at that time. The first San Diego aqueduct had just been completed in 1947. Imported water was available to San Diego County. So a series of water districts were formed in the 1950s to connect their communities to this imported water supply. The district was formed in '54 by a vote of the people. They issued bonds in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, built the backbone system, formed assessment districts to build a distribution system. We also took advantage of federal loans and grants in the 70s, and we finished up the system. Board of directors is 5. They're elected by division under the Municipal Water District Act. Directors are elected by division. Some special districts, directors are elected at large. Ours are by division. We have 2 up for this election. Challenges for the board are significant. The district at one time was the largest agricultural retail agency in Southern California. We were the second largest water purveyor in San Diego County, second only to the city of San Diego. We would deliver 50,000 acre feet of water. Our operators, Eric is one, would go crazy trying to keep up with the demands. Things have changed. Our demands are less than half that now because the price of water has more than doubled in the last 5 years, 200% in the last 10 years. The imported water prices keep going up. Our growers, many of them have quit. You've seen the dead trees. But I still have this water system that's got 7 aqueduct connections, 42-inch pipelines, covers 300 square miles, and it's getting old, and it's aging rapidly, and water systems decline just like everything else. So one of the big challenges for the district and the board members is how do you continue to keep the water system viable, the infrastructure up to speed, modern, the water safe and reliable, and still not drive everybody in your district out of business with water rate increases. So that's the constant struggle, the balance between customer needs and keeping a viable, reliable water system. Also, part of that water system is fire protection. I think Joe will talk about that. But it's also a very vital part of your fire protection system. The other challenge we're now facing and have been for the last couple of years, California's been in a long-term drought. And the Governor Brown and the Brown administration have seen fit to move forward on what they're calling long-term water use efficiency standards. Essentially what they are proposing to do is to give each and every water agency a water budget for the year based upon the number of people we have, number of acres we have under irrigation and so forth. What that might translate into, each one of you might have a water budget for me. So that will add to further reduce water sales, but also it's going to tremendously increase the administrative and technical burden on the water district. Because you can imagine that you have 10,000, 11,000 accounts trying to establish a specific water budget for each and every account. It takes people, it takes technology and time. So on top of the declining water sales and the pressure on keeping the water system infrastructure up to speed, we're going to be dealing with more regulatory reporting and administrative costs to deal with these regulations. So I keep asking, why would anybody want to be on the water board? But fortunately, like all the special districts in this town, we have great people that come forward and serve you well. So there it is.
Thank you. So what you're saying is the cost of water is going to continue to go up?
Yes.
Possibly dramatically.
Well, it's going to keep going up. We figure 5 to 7.
Because the cost of delivering is going to go up because of all the
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Well, our cost of purchase, we purchase
Right.
all the water from the water.
But your admin costs are going to grow and all that stuff. Well, maybe Rewalden can do something about that. And then,
I need a lot more Rewalden.
yeah. There are many other entities out there, and Tom mentioned that, that bring social order, right, and organization to our, because we're trying to have a civilization here, right, and there's local, state, and federal, government, there's governmental agencies, there's the military, right, there's cops, courts, and jails, right, and without all that, social order would disintegrate. If you really think about it, if you lived in a society that didn't have all that, we're blessed to have all that in our society, and a lot of those are run by elected officials, or boards, but there's one more special district we're going to hear from this morning, and it's a key piece of the way we've organized our society, and cops and courts are there, but that's kind of a different entity, but where would we be without our fire districts, right? In today's world, firefighters are asked to do much more than fight fires. There's a lot more to it. There's hazardous materials, there's code enforcement, there's roads, transportation issues, there's all kinds of stuff. And in addition, they, as well as I'm sure the water agencies and everybody has to have some kind of understanding of threat assessments and all that kind of stuff today, because it's a different kind of world that we're living in today. But practically on a more routine basis, there are people. These are the people. The fire people are the people that respond okay, when we're in trouble, right? You know, they're often the first ones there on the worst day of our lives. You know, that often is the case. And we have a special district governed by elected officials who give oversight and provide that vital service. And so Joe Napier, would you come up? Because he is the employee of that board, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
These are all organized the same way?
Absolutely. So, as all special districts in the state of California do their best to take care of themselves, their entity, their responsibilities, in our community, we have unique and special relationships with each other. And so we meet on a regular basis, all the special districts, to make sure that we are working in concert. And I have to, really commend Gary. Gary gets us together and makes sure that we meet and make sure that we talk constantly about what we're working on, what our challenges are. And so we don't operate in a vacuum in each of our special districts, and we don't have blinders on it, that we're working together. So all of my collaborative partners, I can't tell you how much I appreciate over the last 21 months since I've been here, that I've had to be able to bounce ideas off of you. It's been fantastic. And so we have a number of special districts, we all work together. And so for the Fire Protection District, which was formed in November of 1981 through a special vote, we launched with contract services. So for years and years and years, we were a volunteer fire company that operated right next door in a little barn. And we inherited some fire equipment, we purchased some fire equipment. Most of it was right on the ragged edge. And then as time went on, as we got more organized through contract services, we modernized our services, and we began providing customer service at all levels, just like Bill said, providing hazmat, all risk response, cats and trees. You call, we come. And you've heard me say before that, and I'm sure that each of the other special districts share the sentiment that we are the department of the quality of life, which means if you're having a bad day, if you're having your worst day ever, if hot water's running out of your front door and you don't know who else to call at 2 o'clock in the morning when that happens, we will come and help you mitigate that problem and give you some resources to try to stabilize your situation. Or if somebody's sick, or if you have a fire, we'll help you prevent that fire. We do child education, we've adopted schools. And so in that theme of quality of life, that's why we work together with the other special districts, to make sure that we're all working in concert. So it's a really cool thing. So contract services all the way till about September of 2013, the Fire Protection District Board decided that they really wanted to start making a plan to become their own entity and become their own fire department and hire a leader of that fire department. And financially, it took a little while to get all the pieces together, and on December 20th of 2014, I came on board. And since that time, we've been able to do a wide variety of things, meet some challenges of the community, add paramedic services, add a public-private partnership with Mercy Ambulance to make absolutely sure that every call has a paramedic on it, so that when we come to your doorstep, we're ready at the highest possible level to serve you without raising taxes, which is a huge accomplishment. Some of the challenges that we have are we're having a growing community. We see it happening. And it's not just Parks and Community Services that's affected. The Water District is affected. Everybody's affected. Even our Cemetery District is affected as we have a growing community. And so my challenge and my board's challenge, and I have 2 open seats coming, their challenge is to grow responsibly as the community grows responsibly. And you've heard me say that before as well. And what does that look like? Right now, the Fire Protection District is in the middle of a deployment study. And we've hired a consultant to look at what our situation is now in the deployment that I've installed. And we're going to overlay all the growth and all of the people that affect that growth in our community. And we're going to see what we need to do to grow with the community in that deployment. We're also going to take that information and embark on a 5-year strategic plan. And at the end of that strategic plan, and by the way, it's a community-based strategic plan, so I'm going to invite you all to come help share in that. The challenge is to make absolutely sure that the level of service that the fire district is providing meets the growth of the community and has as little impact overall as possible. There's going to be some impact, we all know it, but we have to be there to make absolutely sure that we're prepared for that. And so when we do deployment studies, when we do strategic plans, we invite you to come in and have a say in that, and you can be very, very proud that you had a piece in the protection of your own community. And it's a warm blanket for me to know that you had a say in that it's not the Joe show, and that it's not the fire protection district standing in a vacuum making those decisions, that it's an entire community, and it's the fire protection district listening to them, the board making those implementations, and then giving me direction to improve your quality of life. The other warm blanket is Gary's water system. The thing is so well built that we are prepared for the growth, and I think Gary's prepared for that too, and even some of the stuff that's aging, in our ability to flow water to be prepared for that growth. And again, we meet on a regular basis, we work in concert with each other. Again, I've talked to you before about, I got my report card from the insurance services industry. We were a 5.5X before, which is probably a C grade. We're up to a 3.3X now, which is a B+. We're really, really happy about that. A lot of that has to do with the water system and the deployment of that and our relationship. As a matter of fact, the insurance services industry, the person that was grading us said that he had never seen a relationship as Joe and Gary have in that deployment of quality of life. So that's what I have to say today. So thank you very much. Take care.
Good job. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I agree, Joe.
So what you're seeing is it's based on cooperation. People working together and helping each other and succeed in their tasks in the community. And so one of my favorite fire stories is kind of a weird call. One of my neighbors, this is before you were around, one of my neighbors had a big old rattlesnake right up against her back door, and one of your crews came out, and the guy said, "Now, ma'am, I'm required to ask you this." He said, "Now I have to ask you this." And he said, "Would you like me to take its head? Would you like me to capture it and go release it in a safe spot, or I could just take its head off and deal with it right now? Which would you rather have me do?" And she said, "I want you to take its head off right now." I said, "You made a good choice, man. You made a very good choice."
So we have a rhyme that goes with that.
Yeah.
If you're long and round and slithers on the ground, you'll meet my shovel with a pound.
So they'll help with other things, okay? And we're great. We're really blessed to have all of you guys. But as much as they try, fire personnel, they don't save everybody. Okay, that's as much as it makes them mad. They don't save someone, and nobody gets out of this deal without getting whacked. That's what's real, okay? And that's why we have, as a part of our law enforcement community, actually, we have something called the medical examiner's office. In other counties, they call it the coroner, okay? And we're really fortunate to have an organization like that, because they always find the exact cause of the whack, almost always. They can figure it out, okay? And they also make public safety recommendations that are really helpful. Like they can tell you what size a child's ball should be so that it doesn't obstruct an airway in a little child. They're the ones that come up with that information for us, or whether the design of a motorcycle helmet could be improved or something like that, but we all get wet. And that's why we do, it's already been mentioned, we do have another special district. I was actually with them yesterday because of a veterans thing we're planning together. And the Valley Center Cemetery District is there to ensure, that's a special district that's there to make sure that the whacked, okay, are given dignity and honor after the whack, and also that the remains of the whacked okay, are dealt with in a way that's safe and orderly so we don't have another public health issue, right? I mean, that's what's real, right? And so on that cheery note, I'd like to thank you for coming. I'd like to thank our presenters and enjoy this day because you're not guaranteed another one.
So we are now in our emergency personnel portion of our meeting, and so we'll start. I know we'll start with the CAL FIRE guys. Jose couldn't make it, and Daryl's going to speak. So and they're not a special district, as you know. We pay them for them with our state taxes. So tell us what's going on in CAL FIRE.
Good morning. Well, my captain, Jose Valera, could not make it this morning. And our deputy chief, Christina Williamson, sends her regards. CAL FIRE here in San Diego County, we're fully staffed still. We're still in fire season. Obviously, we've heard the water district say there's a drought. There's a need for us to be vigilant, even though the weather is cooling off and we're trending down. We still have fires up in Northern California. We still have resources out there. Simple resources out there like overhead, fire ants and things like that. Excuse me, my voice is really deep this morning. In this county, we have 26 engines. We additionally have a county component. It's an additional 27 engines, so San Diego County is very well protected for the summer. We're trending down. I've gotten a few phone calls at the station, people asking about burn permits. We probably won't allow people to burn in the district. Maybe in December, January, when it's a good rain. We've had multiple people calling every morning, hey, can we burn today? We're expecting a red flag warning. Santa Ana's coming in that afternoon. It's not a very good time to burn. And we understand that burning is a process here in Madison. We understand that. And we accommodate that. Right now we're in the defensive mode. We're still going out doing space inspection, we call DSIs. We're still doing those. We're still active on those. We perform about 60 DSI inspections every week, so we hit certain target areas. And sometimes we work with Joe and try to get those groves cleaned up. We're working in partnership with them. It's a slow process. As a state agency, we have a tendency to be slow. We try to get the county to support us. We don't get a lot of county support here. But we definitely try to give all our support to Joe and his folks in the Prevention Bureau. We communicate on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and we share information to make sure that we're getting those DSI inspections taken care of. The district has a complaint system that they can use, and if it's something that we can work together, we'll work together and try to get it mitigated for all you folks. So if you guys have a complaint or you guys see a fire hazard out there, whether it be a code enforcement, a defensible space issue, contact the district or contact us, and we'll definitely get out there and take care of it and see what we can do together in partnership and work that out. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Our fuels are.
I would love to point out that that would be a wonderful evacuation center. Because the north end of that property has 20 corrals for large animals.
That would be awesome.
And the large arena. And what do we have here in Valley Center? Lots of horses, lots of emus, lots of exotic animals. That would be a wonderful place for everyone to go and meet. Or a command center, or, because it accommodates so many things. All of those ball fields, you could have tents and. Oh, yeah.
Good point, Darcy.
Our station,
So we need this.
Our station's right here somewhere.
Yeah.
It'd also be good for fire camp too,
It
wouldn't
would
it?
be awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have to use it, right? We don't have to use the parking lot across the street. One last thing I gotta tell you folks is our vegetation is still in critical stage. Even though you see a lot of vegetation out there, it's green, and you've got this good recovery in the mornings, and it's starting to kind of grow a little bit. It's not a true growth. It is growing, obviously it's green, but it's still dead. Our field moistures are between 40 to 50% in the county, lowest ever. Usually anything below 65% is critical, and we're past the critical stage. So if you see hills out there that are green and you're thinking, oh, it's no big deal, we got a little bit of grass, I can go ahead and do a burn today, not call it in. Don't do it. It's our fields are critical. We are definitely in a huge drought. It's probably going to take a couple of years for us to get out of the drought, for us to be able to kind of relax a little bit. So don't get influenced by the weather. Just be cautious. If you see anybody out there burning or any smoke, please call 911, let us know, and let us handle it right off the bat so we don't have a big incident in Valley Center. Okay? That's all I got for you. Thank you guys for the
Thank
invite.
you. James, did Brandy inform you that you have to speak?
Sure. I don't know how to follow that. For those who don't know me, my name is James McConaughey. I apologize. I am working patrol. Normally I'm the area detective and the admin sergeant over the station, and today we're short of body, so I'm out in patrol. That's the reason why I'm dressed like this. We don't have anything really going on with the Sheriff's Department side. We are starting to gear up for the holiday season, so we are going to just start advocating, vacation checks if you guys are going out of town. Make sure you start locking up doors and windows if you guys leave. That's a big thing. And then we're going to start giving you, I think the next meeting, Brandy said she's going to start passing out information as far as tips to keep you safe through the holidays, as far as throwing the trash away and how to throw it away so it doesn't invite thieves into your house and window shop through your trash can. I'll let you know what's in your house. So that's all I've got. It's not as good as that, but. Any questions? Yes.
Well, actually, I have a shout out to the Sheriff's Department. Our family was recently in Tennessee visiting family. We had an incident at our home involving our daughter and a neighbor. And my husband was able to call from Tennessee to the non-emergency line. The deputy from Valley Center called him in Tennessee, came to our house, made sure everything was taken care of, and we could sleep that night. So thank you guys.
Good.
Awesome.
There you go. So, and we encourage you to call. I mean, we're up. Like other agencies, we don't never close. But if you see something, we don't know about it unless we hear about it. Because I don't know if you guys know, at any given time, we only have 3 deputies and a patrol sergeant on duty. And that's for 350 square miles, 5 reservations, 4 casinos, and whatever else happens.
They do a hell of a job too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you need us, don't hesitate to call. I know a lot of people, why didn't you call us? Because we get to a certain point and it's like, well, I didn't want to bother you. You're not bothering us. That's what we're here for. We would rather get it at this level before it gets to that level. So please don't hesitate to call us.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Next, Joe's up. I don't know if he has anything else to say. Or if he's anything.
What I said. That's what's going on. We did, I will say one thing, www.bcfpd.org is where you get to our website to get to our service requests. So, and in the service request, which AKA complaint form, service request, you can find a wide variety of services that we provide, non-emergency services, including working with our partners at CAL FIRE to go out and make sure that we have what's referred to as the LE100s, which is basically clearance around the home, all the way to an ordinance that we've just established for greater than that, where old dilapidated facilities that maybe even people are living in will go, and we work with the Sheriff's Department and with the county code compliance to make sure that people are not living in conditions that they shouldn't be safely, and so that's in there as well. We've also had recently, you'll see that SDG&E is replacing a lot of power poles in our community. Some of the wooden power poles are being replaced with steel power poles. We had an incident in Wajito yesterday where a contractor of SDG&E was electrocuted. Our units got on scene in partnership with our tribal agency at San Pasqual. We were able to get the gentleman down off the pole. He was in full cardiac arrest. We applied an AED to him. We reversed his lethal cardiac arrhythmia. He was breathing on his own, had a heartbeat, his eyes were open. He wasn't conversational. We loaded him into the hospital. He was transported down to UCSD to the Burn Center in critical condition. We don't know what the outcome is going to be for him. He's got youth behind him, but it just goes to show you that working together, all of us working together for that type of outcome is huge, and having paramedics arrive on scene every time is huge. So that's it.
Congratulations. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Trina mentioned we may not have time, but we have about 7 minutes. We only have, I think, 4 people or 3 people that had said they wanted to do a 1-minute pitch. So we can go ahead and get these, and then we'll be out of here at 9. So first up is Michael O'Connor.
Good start. Hi, I'm Mike O'Connor. I live in Valley Center. I've been here for almost 26 years. I'm on the planning board, and I'm also running for the fire board this year. And I would like our fine citizens vote. We're dealing with something on the planning board right now. We voted down the Lilac Hills Ranch project twice, and now we're in one of the most critical stages of it. We're fighting the whole county to vote on this. The whole county is getting to vote on this for our community. And I don't want to tell you that how infuriated I am about this. I know people have different positions, but this is our community, and we should be voting on something as drastic as that's coming to our community. The planning board has done diligent work for the general plan for the last 13 years. It's a tune of $18 million countywide to come up with a general plan. We have our growth going through the city. I mean, the community. It's going right along Valley Center Road. It's in the general plan. It's got the homes that these people are saying that we're not providing affordable housing. We are providing affordable housing. You see the earth movers out there. You see everything going on. I'm going around the county with some signs and to vote no on B and urge the voters to vote no on B to let our community grow as a community and not have other towns like Solana Beach, Encinitas, Chula Vista, San Diego, voting on our community. And I can't tell you that we need more volunteers, we need donations to get this done. It's doable. I've been on campaigns like this before, fighting, you know, the big machine, as I call it, and you can win. Carlsbad did it. But the thing about Carlsbad is only their citizens voted for it, only their residents voted for it, and they defeated it. They defeated a lot of money from the LA developer. This developer deceived the voters in San Diego and South Bay by lying to them, saying it was going to be affordable homes, saying it was going to be for veterans. They were all lies. But when you hire signature gatherers at $1 a signature, and they're getting paid for that, they're going to tell anybody what's going to be, and they're going to get a signature. And then they're going to turn it in the county and dodge everything. If it was so good what they got from the Planning Commission, why didn't they put that on the ballot the way it was written? All those exceptions that they got approved by the Planning Commission was not on the initiative. So, I can only say this. Tell all your friends and neighbors to tell everybody they know around the county to vote no on this. Let us decide our community. We have the growth. We're projected for 96% growth along the Valley Center Road corridor, where they put a 4-lane highway in for the growth. So I urge everybody to vote no on that, and please vote for me on the fire board, because I'm very, very involved in the community. I have 32 years as a firefighter. Jim Wolf and I have served in the community. He is also running for the fire board. I started out to get my word out I ran on the planning board, and I don't know anything about land use, but I know that we need a voice, and I know that we need help. And I asked Marie Waldron, one of our representatives, to weigh in on this for our community. And if you would tell her that, then I'd appreciate that. And you could tell her it's from Mike O'Connor. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, appreciate it. Pat, you're up.
Very quick. Friends of the Valley Center Library. We have 2 fun events coming up in October. It's Halloween, and so Wednesday, October 26th at 6 p.m. is the history and lore of vampires, and if you missed it last year, it's quite a show. Children are invited, but they have to be at least 12 years old because it can be a bit of a scary event. So 6 to 7 on Wednesday the 26th, and then Friday the 28th, we have our monthly Buck a Bag sale for $1. You buy a bag and you can fill it with as many books as you can get into that bag. And all of the books most all of the books in our bookstore will also be half price. So that's Wednesday, the 26th, and Friday, the 28th, from 9:30 to 4:30 on Friday. Thanks.
Last but not least, Chris Clark for Controlled Entrances in Valley Center Fence.
Yes, I'll come up there. Hi, folks. Well, kind of touching on what some of these other guys said for security and fire. We do automatic gates for your driveways and fencing. So for as far as security, if you need to secure your property, a good way to do that is with a gate and fencing. And related to that, with fire, is if you have an automatic gate, you should have a Knox lock, meaning that Knox lock is important for EMS and fire to get on the property in case there is emergency. I know there's a lot of gates around that may not have them, but it is actually county fire code. We put them in as a rule on all new systems, or retrofit them if there is. So that'd be one thing to look at your gate, if you have one, is to see if there is a lock there. It usually is indicated by the red sticker. So if not, we can help you with that. And then the other thing would be for fencing and your vacations and gates. If you need to have your system checked out, we can do that ahead of time for you, so they make sure all is good. And with that, statistically, I understand that the bad guys pass properties that have fences and gates. If your driveway is gated, they'll have a tendency to pass and go to the next person who is not gated. So just something to think about, you know, as far as security purposes. And a lot of times we get calls after the fact, after they've been broken into, like, oh, now they want to think, because a lot of properties here, the gate is far away from the house. You can't see it, so it's a perfect opportunity if the bad guys know nobody's home. It happens during the day when people are gone to work, or, you know, gone for periods of time. So something to think about. But no matter who you use a licensed contractor.
Thanks, Bruce. All right, we appreciate everybody coming. It was a great meeting. Thanks, Bill, for organizing this. It was great. Thank you.